Have you ever been in a conversation where everything just stops? That awkward silence where nobody knows what to say next. Yeah, me too. It happens to all of us. But here's the thing. You don't need perfect English to keep a conversation alive. You just need a few magic phrases.
Oh, I hate that moment. You're standing there with someone, maybe a colleague or a new friend, and suddenly the words just disappear. You start panicking inside. Your brain goes completely blank, and the silence gets louder and louder.
Right. And you start thinking, say something, anything. But the more you panic, the harder it gets. Today, we're going to fix that forever. On Simple English Talks, we're giving you the exact phrases that keep conversations alive.
And these aren't complicated textbook sentences. These are short, natural, everyday phrases that native speakers use all the time. Once you learn them, you'll never feel stuck in a conversation again.
By the end of this episode, you'll know how to ask follow-up questions that make people want to keep talking. You'll know how to react naturally when someone shares something with you. And you'll know how to smoothly move from one topic to another without any awkward gaps.
So think about this. When was the last time you felt stuck in a conversation? What did you do? Did you just smile and nod? Did you pull out your phone? Go ahead and write that in the comments below. We'd love to know your experience.
Yes, share your awkward moment with us. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button on Simple English Talks so you never miss an episode. Let's jump right in and learn the phrases that will make you a conversation superstar.
Okay, let's start with the most basic and powerful tool you have. Follow-up questions. When someone finishes a sentence, the easiest way to keep things moving is to ask them to continue. This shows you're interested, and it gives them permission to keep sharing.
Think about it. If you tell me, I went to a concert last night, and I just say, oh, cool, and then stop, what happens? Nothing. The conversation dies. But if I say, oh, really? Who did you see? Suddenly we have a whole new topic to explore.
Exactly. The phrase, oh, really, is like a key that unlocks more conversation. It's just 2 words, but it's incredibly powerful. Then you follow it with a question word. Who, what, where, when, why, how. That's your simple structure. React first, then ask.
So the pattern is react plus question word. That's it. For example, oh really? Where was it? Or, that's cool. What kind of music? Or, wow. When did you buy the tickets? Simple, right?
Let me give you a few more examples that you can use starting today. If someone says, I started a new job, you can say, that's exciting. What do you do exactly? If someone says, I just came back from vacation, you can say, oh, nice. Where did you go? If someone says, I'm learning guitar, you can say, no way. How's it going?
Ha ha. I love no way. It's such a natural reaction. It shows surprise and interest. But be careful, it's informal. You wouldn't say no way to your boss in a formal meeting. With friends though, it's perfect.
Good point. For more formal situations, you can still use the same pattern but with different reactions. Instead of no way, try, that's interesting, or, oh, I see. Then add the question, I see. What made you decide to learn guitar? Much more appropriate for work.
So your job right now is to practice the react plus question pattern. I'll give you a statement, and you think of a reaction and a question. Ready? I tried a new restaurant yesterday. What would you say?
Oh, I'd probably say, oh nice. What kind of food was it? Or maybe, really? Was it good? Both follow the pattern perfectly.
See? You're already a natural. Now you try. Here's another one. I watched a great movie last night. Pause the podcast and say your reaction and question out loud. Go ahead, speak it out.
I hope you said something like, oh cool, what was it? Or, really? What movie? Or even, I've been wanting to watch something good. What did you see? The exact words don't matter. It's the pattern that matters.
Now what about when you want to say something was negative? You don't always have to be super positive. If someone says, my weekend was so boring, You can react and ask naturally. Oh no, why? What happened? That's still the react plus question pattern.
So the reaction can be positive, negative, surprised, curious. It matches their tone. If they sound sad, you react with concern. Oh, I'm sorry, what happened? That's how you show empathy and keep the conversation alive at the same time.
Exactly. Let's quickly review this section. The key takeaway is react, then ask. Use a short reaction like, oh really? Wow, that's cool. No way. Oh no. Then add a question word. That's your basic conversation survival kit. If you only learn one thing today, learn this.
Perfect summary. So can you now think of a reaction and a question for this situation? My cat did something hilarious this morning. How would you respond? Write your reaction plus question in the comments, and let's see how creative you can get.
Now let's build on that. Reacting and asking is great, but what if you want to show that you really understand? What if you want to connect on a deeper level? That's where our next set of phrases comes in. These are empathy and connection phrases that make people feel heard.
Oh, these are my favorite. When someone tells you something personal or emotional, a simple "oh really" might not be enough. You need to show that you get it. You understand how they feel.
Right. So imagine someone says, I'm so stressed about this exam. You could just ask, oh, when is it? But that's a bit cold. Instead, you could say, I totally get that. I used to get so nervous before exams too. What subject is it? See the difference? You've acknowledged their feeling first.
I know that feeling is a fantastic phrase. It immediately creates a bond. You're saying, I've been there. You're not alone. Another similar one is, that makes total sense. That validates what they're feeling without you having to share a similar experience.
Let's look at some specific empathy phrases. That sounds really tough. I can't imagine how you feel. I'm so happy for you. That must have been amazing. Each one matches a different emotion. Tough for hard times. Happy for good news. Amazing for exciting experiences.
And here's a secret. You don't always need to have the exact same experience. If someone says, I ran a marathon, and you've never run in your life, you can still say, wow, that must have taken so much training. How did you prepare? You're still connecting without lying.
That's such a good point. So many learners worry they can't continue a conversation because they don't know about the topic. But you don't need to be an expert. You just need to show curiosity and empathy.
Let me give you a real-life dialogue example. I'll be the friend with exciting news, and you react. Anna, I got a promotion at work.
Oh my gosh, Smith, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. When did you find out?
I found out this morning. I was so shocked.
I can imagine. You've been working so hard. That's such great news. Are you going to celebrate?
See how naturally that flowed? I shared. Anna reacted with emotion. She connected it to my hard work. And then she asked a follow-up question. That's the complete package.
And notice I didn't just say congratulations and stop. Congratulations is nice, but it's a conversation ender if you don't add something else. Always add a why, a how, or a tell me more.
That's a golden rule. Never give a one-word reaction. Always attach a question or a personal thought. Okay, let's also talk about informal empathy phrases that you hear everywhere. Things like, no way, shut up, get out of here. But careful, these can sound aggressive if you use the wrong tone.
Haha, yes, if you say shut up with a big smile and a high tone, it means I'm so surprised in a good way. But if you say it flatly, it's rude. So with these informal phrases, tone is everything. For learners, I'd recommend sticking with no way or seriously. They're safer and very common.
First tip, match your reaction to their emotion. If they're excited, be excited. If they're down, be gentle. Second tip, use I know, right? Or tell me about it when you completely agree with a complaint. Like, the traffic was so bad today. Tell me about it. It took me an hour.
Oh, I use tell me about it all the time. It's like saying I completely agree and I have the same problem. Third tip, when someone shares something amazing, that's incredible, or I love that, are perfect. They're simple, they're warm, and they keep the energy up.
So now I want you to imagine a friend says to you, I just adopted a puppy. How would you respond using an empathy phrase and a follow-up question? Write exactly what you'd say in the comments. Be creative and try to use one of the phrases we just taught.
Now we've covered how to ask questions and how to show empathy. But a conversation isn't just about the other person. You also need to be able to share your own experiences and smoothly transition to new topics. That's our third set of phrases.
This is where a lot of people struggle. They can listen, they can ask questions, but when it's their turn to add something, they freeze. Or they abruptly change the topic and it feels weird. We're going to fix that.
The easiest way to add your own experience is a bridge phrase. You connect what they said to something about you. For example, that reminds me of the time I, or that's just like when I. These phrases smoothly hand the conversation to you without ignoring their story.
Let's demonstrate. Smith, I went to the beach last weekend and the water was freezing. Your turn.
Oh, that reminds me of the time I went swimming in winter. I couldn't feel my feet for 10 minutes. How cold was it exactly?
See, I used, that reminds me of, and then I shared a quick personal story, and then I bounced back with a question. So I wasn't just talking about myself. I was sharing and then returning the focus.
That returning part is critical. You don't want to steal the conversation. You want to add to it. So after your personal comment, you send the ball back with a question or a check-in. Was it colder than that? Did you stay in long?
Another brilliant transition phrase is, speaking of. This is perfect when you want to shift to a related but slightly different topic. For example, they say, I love Italian food. And you say, speaking of food, have you tried that new sushi place? It connects naturally.
Oh, I love speaking of. It's so smooth. It's like you're saying, oh, that word you just said made me think of this other thing. So it feels connected, not random. No awkward topic jumps.
And if you really need to change the subject completely because the current topic is dying, you can use by the way or anyway to softly pivot. Anyway, I wanted to ask you about your trip next week. It signals that you're moving on, but in a polite way.
But here's a tip for being polite. Don't interrupt someone mid-sentence with anyway. Wait for a natural pause, then use it. It's about timing. If you cut them off, it can sound like you don't care about what they're saying.
Absolutely. Let's also look at the phrase, what about you? It's the simplest way to show mutual interest. After you answer a question, you can just say, what about you? But be careful to say it warmly. A flat what about you sounds like you're just returning the question because you have to.
Right. So instead of just what about you? Try and what about you? How was your weekend? Adding the full question makes it warmer. You can also say, how about yourself? Or, what have you been up to? For variety.
Let's practice this too. I'll say something, you respond with a bridge and a return question. Enna, I'm really getting into cooking these days.
Oh, that's great. Speaking of cooking, I just tried making bread for the first time. It was a disaster, but so much fun. What kind of dishes are you making?
Perfect. You used speaking of, shared a personal bit, and then asked, what kind of dishes? That's the formula. Bridge, share briefly, return with a question.
So your challenge now is to think of a time you used speaking of, or that reminds me of. Have you used these naturally before? Write an example in the comments. If you haven't, write a sentence now using one of these bridge phrases to connect two topics you like.
All right, we've given you so many useful phrases today. But you know what happens when we learn new things? We make mistakes. And that's totally normal. Let's talk about the most common mistakes learners make when trying to keep conversations alive, so you can avoid them.
Oh, I've made every single one of these. Honestly. The first big mistake is asking too many questions like an interview. Where are you from? What do you do? Do you like it? It feels like a police interrogation.
Ha ha, yes. A conversation shouldn't feel like a job interview. Instead of jumping to the next question, react to their answer first. If they say they're a teacher, say, "Oh, what grade do you teach? That's so interesting." Not just okay. Next question.
The correct way is to add a reaction or a comment between questions, like, "Wow, teaching must be exhausting, but so rewarding. How long have you been doing it?" See the difference? It's a conversation, not a checklist.
The second common mistake is one-word responses. When someone asks you a question and you just say yes, no, or good, you are a conversation killer. Even if the answer is simple, add a little bit more.
For example, instead of did you have a good weekend? Yes. You can say, "Yes, it was really relaxing, thanks. I just stayed home and watched movies. How about you?" That extra sentence gives them something to grab onto.
The third mistake is not asking questions back. This happens a lot. Someone asks you a question, you answer, and then you just stop. Silence. The other person feels like they have to do all the work. Always try to return the question.
A simple force, "And you?" or "What about you?" changes everything. It shows that you're also interested in them. The fourth mistake is being afraid of making grammar errors, so you say nothing at all. Perfection is the enemy of communication.
Exactly. I'd rather talk to someone who makes 10 grammar mistakes but is engaged and curious than someone with perfect grammar who just stares at me. Don't let fear stop you from using these phrases. Just try.
Let me give you a funny example of a mistake I used to make. Someone would say, "I'm so tired today," and I'd respond with, "Why? Just why?" No empathy, no warmth. It sounded like I was interrogating them. Now I say, "Oh no, late night? That's so much better."
So practice correcting these. If someone says, "I love hiking," instead of just saying, "Cool," say, "Cool, where do you usually go?" Add that question. If someone says, "This weather is awful," instead of, "Yeah," say, "I know, right? I can't wait for summer. What's your favorite season?" Keep it going.
Remember, every mistake is just a step towards better conversations. Don't be ashamed. We all learn by trying, failing, and trying again. So promise me you'll use at least one of these phrases today, even if you're nervous.
All right, it's time for our interactive practice. I'm going to give you a situation and 2 possible responses. You choose the one that keeps the conversation alive better. Ready? Situation 1. Your friend says, "I just got back from a trip to Japan." Option A, "Oh." Option B, "Oh wow, what was your favorite part?" Which one?
That's easy. Option B, absolutely. Option A is a conversation killer. Option B shows interest and asks a question. Always go for the B style.
Right. Situation 2. A colleague says, "I'm so frustrated with this project." Option A, "Why?" Option B, "Oh no, that sounds stressful. What's going on?" Think about it.
Option B is clearly better. Why can sound a bit cold. "Oh no, that sounds stressful" shows empathy first, then asks. It's warmer and more natural. So choose B every time.
Situation 3. You're talking about movies and you want to mention a book. Option A, "So I read a book." Option B, "Speaking of great stories, I read an amazing book last week."
Ooh, B is so smooth. Speaking of great stories, bridges the topics perfectly. Option A is just awkward and abrupt. Using a bridge phrase makes the conversation flow like water.
Situation 4. Someone asks you about your job and you answer. Then you, Option A, stay silent and wait for the next question. Option B, say, "It keeps me busy. What about you? What do you do?"
Always B. Always return the question. Keep the energy mutual. The other person will feel so much more comfortable when you show interest back.
Last one, situation 5. You want to change the topic from a boring subject. Option A. Just start talking about something completely different with no warning. Option B. Anyway, I wanted to ask you about your weekend. Did you do anything fun?
Option B is polite and clear. That anyway signals the change gently. Option A would just confuse the other person. Remember, small words like anyway and by the way are your friends.
Great job. Now your challenge is to create your own sentences. Write in the comments a full dialogue where you use one reaction phrase, one empathy phrase, and one bridge phrase. Practice crafting a natural conversation flow. We can't wait to read them.
Wow, we have covered so much today. You now have a toolbox full of phrases to keep any conversation alive. Let's quickly recap the 3 main uses we learned.
First, we learned the react plus question pattern. Use short reactions like, "Oh really?" "Wow," or "No way," and then add a question word to keep things moving. That's your basic survival kit.
Second, we learned empathy and connection phrases. Things like, "That sounds tough. I'm so happy for you, and I know what you mean." These show you truly understand and care, not just that you're waiting for your turn to speak.
Third, we learned how to use bridge phrases like "speaking of" and "that reminds me of" to add your own stories and transition smoothly. And we learned the magic of "what about you" to show mutual interest.
You are now equipped to handle any conversation, from casual chats at a party to deeper talks with friends. Just remember, the goal is connection, not perfection. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to make mistakes. The important thing is you're trying.
I want you to think about this. Which phrase from today's episode are you going to use first? Maybe you'll try June real. "Oh really?" with a question. Maybe you'll try "speaking of" to change the topic smoothly. Choose one and commit to using it today.
And we really want to hear how it goes. So after you try it, come back to this episode on Simple English Talks and leave a comment. Tell us what phrase you used and what happened. Your story might inspire someone else to be brave too.
If this episode helped you feel more confident about conversations, please hit that like button and share it with a friend who's learning English. And don't forget to subscribe to Simple English Talks so you get our new episodes every week.
Thanks for spending this time with us. You're doing an amazing job learning English, and we're so proud of you. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep connecting.
That's all for today. Go out there and keep those conversations alive. We'll see you next time.